Welcome to the show. The following video is a re-upload from Macabre'Gorium Labs, link in the description. Hey everybody, what's up? My name is Bats, and I'll be your host today as we take a look at 13 cartoons based off video games, Volume 1. As we discussed in our last video, there are a lot of video games based on television and cartoons. But did you know that there are actually a whole bunch of TV shows based on video games? Today we're going to discuss 13 examples of these forgotten cartoons based on video games. Number 13. The Rayman series. Rayman, the video game created by Michael Ansel, debuted September 1st, 1995. And with the Rayman video game becoming an instant success, the creators thought, why not a cartoon? So this cartoon was developed by Ubisoft in 1999. It only came out in France, Germany, and the Netherlands. Don't worry about not seeing it, as they did release a copy on VHS for North America. The series was about an evil circus owner, Rigatoni, that abuses his performers. Once Rayman is forced to be in the circus, he decides that he will not put up with being treated this way. So Rayman helps everyone to escape by foiling Rigatoni's attempts to bring them back to the circus. Unfortunately, the cartoon was not that successful and was cancelled after only one season that consisted of 4 single episodes. Number 12. The Donkey Kong Country series. The Donkey Kong Country series was loosely based on the Donkey Kong Country series of video games that were part of the Nintendo franchise. In North America, the cartoon aired from August 15th, 1988 and continued through the year 2000. The Donkey Kong Country game first came out in 1994 and was developed by Rare and published by Nintendo. The cartoon had 2 seasons consisting of 40 episodes. Interestingly enough, the Donkey Kong Country cartoon was one of the first CGI cartoons made at that time, and it follows Donkey Kong's adventures. The plot revolved around Donkey Kong finding a crystal coconut. The coconut is said to grant wishes and also answer questions. And as expected, the bad guy in this show is King K. Rool, as seen in the Donkey Kong Country video games. King K. Rool and his minions are always trying to steal the magic coconut from Donkey Kong. Duh. But are not successful. All in all, it was a pretty good and funny show. Number 11. The Kirby series.
Not Pikachu, please don't sue.
Now most people have heard of our first entry with Kirby. The first time we were introduced to this sweet little hero was April 27th of 1992 when Nintendo released Kirby's Dream Land. But did you know that it had a cartoon series called Kirby Right Back at Ya? This series had over 100 episodes spaced over 4 seasons. With the successes of the games, it was only natural to have a cartoon developed too. This particular cartoon was about Kirby and his friends after his starship crash lands on planet Popstar, and you guessed it, in the country of Dreamland. When Kirby crashes, he makes friends with the villagers in Cappy Town. The villain of this story is King Dedede, and he wants to drive Kirby away by utilizing monsters from NME's company, Nightmare Enterprises. As luck would have it, these monsters cause a lot of problems by attacking Kirby and the Dreamland citizens. However, Kirby and his friends always save the day in the end. See, even a cute and cuddly creature can be a hero. Once again, I'd like to point out that Ghost wrote this script. Number 10. Battletoads. In the 1990s, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles were on top of the toy game, from action figures to movies to betting. This would also be a point in time when Rare decides to enter into the market with a game named Battletoads, which was a surprise hit for the Nintendo Entertainment System. Due to this factor, DiC Entertainment decided to produce a pilot for the Battletoads cartoon. This pilot would show the characters Rash, Zitz, and Pimple as wisecracking California high school students that had been transformed into the Battletoads by Professor T. Bird. Professor T. Bird is a super scientist bird that escaped from an arcade game. Unfortunately, there was only a pilot for this show, and it could not compete in the marketplace against the always awesome Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Number 9.
Mutant League Football and Mutant League Hockey.
The next entry on our list is Mutant League, which is a cartoon based on both the video games Mutant League Football and Mutant League Hockey. The cartoon would air from July 2nd, 1994 up until February 24th, 1996. In its run, it would have 2 seasons with a total of 40 episodes. The premise for this one being that during a football game, an earthquake happens which uncovers buried toxic waste that causes all of the people and players at the game to mutate. And of course, because cartoons, since the players were now mutated, why not start the Mutant League football and hockey teams? Most of the series involves the Midway Monsters playing, quote, evil teams over 2 seasons, consisting of 58 episodes. Number 8. The Super Mario Bros. Series. As we check in on our favorite plumber Mario, we found out that in addition to many games, there have also been several cartoons about him. Today we are focusing on the Super Mario Bros. Super Show that aired on September 4th, 1989, with none other than Captain Lou Albano as Mario and Danny Wells as Luigi, and those two would introduce each and every episode. The plot of each episode featured characters and situations based upon the NES games of Super Mario Bros. And Super Mario Bros. 2. It even had some of the sound effects and musical cues from both games. Even though it was based on the games, there were inconsistencies between the two. I used to watch this show every day when I'd get home from school, one of the few things we could look forward to back then. All in all, it was funny and entertaining to watch and added to the Super Mario Bros. Franchise. Number 7. F-Zero. The F-Zero series of racing video games were created by Nintendo and features futuristic cars and awesome racing. In 2003, we got the F-Zero GP Legends cartoon that had an anime look to it. This show would follow Detective Rick Wheeler as he wakes up from his cryogenic sleep, which happened accidentally while he was pursuing an escaped villain named Zoda. Now in the year 2201, Nick competes in the F-Zero circuit in order to investigate crimes with the Mobile Task Force. At the same time, Rick is also trying to stop Black Shadow after he finds out that they are helping Zoda. This cartoon consisted of 2 seasons with 15 episodes in English and 51 in Japanese. Number 6. Pac-Man. Almost everybody knows this entry of a pellet-chomping, ghost-eating video game icon. And of course I'm talking about the one and only Pac-Man, obviously. The Pac-Man series of video games were so successful that a cartoon seemed destined to happen, and we are glad it did. The original Pac-Man game of pellet chomping and ghost chasing would not have made a very good cartoon. However, luckily the cartoon decided to go in a different direction. So, on September 25th of 1982, we got a cartoon named Pac-Man, the animated series, brought to us by none other than the legendary Hanna-Barbera Productions. This cartoon adaptation introduced us to Pac-Man's wife Pepper, his baby Pac-Baby, and his dog Chomp Chomp, as well as his cat Sourpuss. All in all, there were 2 seasons with 42 episodes and 2 specials. This show was about the daily life of the Pac family, with them fighting ghost monsters, saving power pellets, and having adventures. Some of the critics think that it was bland and that the plots were simple, but it was the simplicity of the stories that made the show fun for all ages. Something to note is we will eventually have an entire school of boredom here on our channel dedicated to the Pac-Man franchise, so we can explore it in more depth. Number 5. Tak and the Power of Juju. On October 15th, 2003, we were introduced to Tak and the Power of Juju game, which consisted of solving puzzles and dealing with obstacles. This cartoon only had 1 season, but it consisted of 26 episodes, and it lasted from August 31st, 2007 up until January 24th, 2009. It was only loosely based on the video games created by Avalanche Software and was done in a CGI format. The Tak cartoon was also the first CGI series to be overseen by Nickelodeon Animation Studios, and it was the 30th Nicktoon. This show was about the main character Tak and his adventures while protecting his tribe of Poo-Poo Nunu from Tlaloc's evil spell. Number 4. Darkstalkers. The Darkstalkers video games, published by Capcom, were a series of 2D fighting games beginning with Darkstalkers: The Night Warriors. This was a dark game that had a cartoon that had to be changed to appeal to a younger audience. The cartoon did not contain as much violence or adult content as the game, which in the end was the reason it failed. In 1995, the Darkstalkers cartoon brought to us the story of Harry Grimoire, a descendant of Merlin that would team up with the Darkstalkers. By adapting the cartoon for a younger audience, the story lost the dark gothic feel of the game and was not well received. Also, the cartoon did not have the complexity that the game did, instead going for a basic good versus evil theme. I guess that would be why this cartoon, like many others, only had 1 season with 13 episodes. Number 3. Dragon's Lair. The original Dragon's Lair video game was released to arcades in 1983 and was produced by Cinematronics. This entry is a little different from normal video games, as it was actually a Laserdisc video game that was more like watching a story than playing a game. The cartoon series aired on September 8, 1984 and continued up until April 27, 1985. It was developed by the Ruby Spears Productions Company. Unfortunately, there was only 1 season consisting of 13 episodes. The cartoon would follow Dirk the Daring, the best knight in the kingdom, on his adventures trying to protect the kingdom from the evil dragon, Singe. Number 2. Sonic the Hedgehog. Most people are familiar with the many games featuring Sonic the Hedgehog, but there was also an LCD game released by Tiger Electronics. However, the cartoon took place in a continuity and canon that was completely separate from any other Sonic media. The cartoon lasted from October 1999 until October 2000. There were 2 seasons consisting of 40 episodes, and it was the 3rd Sonic the Hedgehog cartoon. The basic plot of the cartoon begins with Queen Alina Hedgehog telling the story of Dr. Robotnik taking over Mobius. Queen Alina would explain that she had to give up her 3 kids, Sonic, Sonia, and Manic, so one day they could fulfill a prophecy made by the Oracle of Delphius. When the triplets become older, they find their mother, they beat Dr. Robotnik, and they take their rightful place as the rulers of Mobius. And number 1. The Rayman series. For our last entry, we decided to bring this list full circle by picking right up where we started. The Rabbids, also known as the Raving Rabbids, is a spin-off animated series from the Rayman set of video games, being the main antagonists of Rayman. You can re-watch our first entry for more Rayman info. Rabbids Invasion seemed like it would be a good story for the Raving Rabbids, but it did have to tone down the violence so it could be more child-friendly. Due to the way that the cartoon is made, often showing humans as idiots, it appealed to a wide range of people. Also, with the humans seeming stupid, it made the Rabbids seem smarter by comparison. This cartoon had 4 seasons, consisting of 104 episodes in total. Also, this show had simple plot lines. Along with having simple plot lines, this cartoon had 4 seasons, consisting of 104 episodes in total. The episodes usually depicted the Rabbids trying to figure out how to do simple human things such as using an elevator, wearing hats, finding an item to wear or use, or even opening a banana. This show was a fun little window into the madness of the lives of these adorable little creatures. And with that final entry, we've come to the end of our School of Boredom Extra Credit. 13 cartoons based on video games, Volume 1. I've been your host, Bats, and yes, there's a similar video you'll find linked in our end card. And if you'd like to see more, be sure to check back, as usual. Hey, thanks for checking out our video. If you enjoyed this one and would like to see more of our weird, creepy, odd, eccentric, or strange content as soon as it comes out, please feel free to click like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more. We'll see you later. Keep it creepy.